Alright, so finally some exclusive news for you guys. I'm gonna ask for 800 likes today. Hopefully we can reach it. It supports me and it supports you the most. Now what we're gonna be talking about today is something pretty fresh, something pretty new, and something pretty important. Now I'm also gonna ask you to watch the video fully until the end to understand the situation that's going on. Supposedly someone that was working as a contractor for DICE leaked a bit more information about Battlefield 6. But as always, take this information with a grain of salt, just like any leak and any type of news not confirmed by EA or DICE. So what exactly has happened recently? Well, recently we do get a few posts on Battlefield 6 on the subreddit called Gaming Leaks. And it features stories of gameplay leaks to console leaks really, and sometimes even something about Battlefield 6. But recently, a new post came out that actually provided a lot of attention. Battlefield's destruction rumors are seemingly true. Now, this post was deleted, and I will get later on into that why it was actually removed by the poster himself. But luckily, in our Discord, we actually found out the screenshots of this leak. Now, a Reddit user claiming to be a VX artist has shared more information on the scope of Battlefield 6 potential citywide destruction and mind-blowing effects. FX Freaks 21 says that they had to put together a throwaway account so to not risk breaching any non-disclosure agreements, but I should stress that these claims are completely unverified and should be taken with a pinch of doer salt. So this is what he said: had to post through a throwaway, don't want to risk breaching NDAs. Essentially, I work as an FX artist, so Pyro, Physics, Sims, Water Sims, Destruction, and so on, as we saw in Battlefield 6, for a VFX studio in Western Europe, so preferably Germany or somewhere where DICE is nearly completed, so for example, Sweden. And we often have industry talks, which is something that actually happens a lot behind the scenes. And we often have in forms of updates on tech developments and simulation engines. Something that Battlefield 6 really had in their June EA Play trailer. 3 weeks ago, they had a talk with the FX lead and a software engineer working on real-time destruction technology. Part of this talk ventured into the tech's usage of gaming, primarily real-time destruction enabled by next-gen consoles and in upcoming engines like Unreal 5. Just to show you what the Unreal Engine 5 footage looks like, here it is.
Don't get too sidetracked by Chaos's goons. Demolition-grade architectural recall systems are now online. Good thing it's a bank holiday. This place wasn't in great shape before we arrived. Let's hear you teleport out of that one.
But this visual effect artist never worked in the gaming industry before. He's an avid gamer and a Battlefield fan, so when they moved on to the discussion of working with the Frostbite engine, he paid extra attention because he knew something was up, something is potentially happening with the new engine. But what's pretty important here is they actually showed a bit of more of the footage for the Battlefield 6. They showed them very brief footage similar to the tech demo shown at the EA show last summer. It featured a modern looking glass front building toppling forward from a series of explosions on the ground floor. The building topples onto a truck parked in front and hurries in the rubble. And for a real-time interactive destruction simulator, it blew his mind. It was so awesome to him, like the destruction was simply amazing, but they cut the footage and moved on to talking about this tech presence in game development and the future of real-time physics and so on. So for example, how these effects would be working, for example, if you threw a bomb in the building, what would happen? Would just the windows explode out of nowhere? Would, the building collapse? and so on. How would the building interpret it for example, a dynamite explosion or a tank explosion or an airplane explosion or a chopper shooting down the building? What would happen then? But let's go back to what they were talking about. Now, they didn't outright mention Battlefield, but they said that this was being used in an upcoming shooter, and I'm guessing, as he mentions it, it's for the Frostbite engine from the looks of it. They stated how they helped create a sandbox experience where destruction was a focus point, and this is exactly what the Battlefield series is aiming for. Complete sandbox, your own control, but with destruction and lots of vehicles. And it would be pretty awesome if Battlefield 6 wouldn't have a specific focus point at how you can play the game, but multiple ones. So for example, if you want to be a sniper, sniping from afar, or someone that is fighting up close and personal, or going sneaky like, for example, with silencer like a ninja, with having weapon customizations and big massive destruction, that would be pretty awesome, DICE. It was mentioned that they had assisted in developing a map where every building can be destroyed in real time through user interaction. So for example, a player can destroy a building, simple as that. And the FX lead, for visual assistant basically, said that the explosion at the top of the building can create a domino effect. So for example, if an explosion is happening on top of Siege of Shanghai, that means on the lower floors it can actually do like sort of a domino effect, sending debris through the floor below if this explosion is actually sizable enough. And that is mind-blowing, because this is exactly what we see at the EA Play teaser trailer. Now, something new that has never been talked about before, and listen very carefully, is they also discussed the implementation of fluid and pyro sims into this system, saying that an explosion, fire, smoke, and debris can realistically be blocked by surrounding walls and items. So imagine a smoke grenade in a room that only fills the room with smoke. Or example, you throw a grass grenade, or for example, I don't know, a fire grenade, and that only stays in the room. It doesn't hit you out of bounds of anything, and doesn't make it like in previous Battlefield games where a gas grenade could go through the buildings, which is really weird, to be honest. But going to that, this also tells us about the teaser we saw in EA Play 2020, when we saw a very short footage of such gas being on a top of a debris or a floor. Really, it didn't tell us much, but I think this could potentially add up to what this guy on Reddit is saying. And if the leak is true, this means this is exactly what DICE has been showing us a year ago and is now getting a bit more advanced with more people on board. Now, what he said, my takeaway is that the tech in this game will be insane. I wish I could show you the demo they used, but the destruction looks so incredibly realistic in the way that the building falls as a whole, then crumbles when it hits the floor, and the debris remains there for a fair while. If we got a Battlefield 4 Siege of Shanghai debris fall, I'm pretty sure we can get a much more advanced Battlefield 6 multiple buildings destroyed debris. Now, he did say that there was no DICE or Battlefield mentioned, but he himself has claimed that this is Battlefield 6 based on what he was seeing. If this is true, it could be potentially that the same tech was basically made on two trailers, one for the people working on the game and one for the general public. If you'd ask me how believable these leaks actually are, I'd say it's pretty possible. Simply put, it correlates with what we've been seeing before, and it's not big, huge information of info. So for example, if there's gonna be a battle royale or not. And I'm guessing he is actually a DICE contractor, a DICE employee from what he is saying. Now, the post was deleted, and that was for one specific reason. He made a throwaway, but he said what he was working at and what the tech demo actually was. So there's two possible theories to this, and I want you to decide which one sounds better to you. The first one is that he actually did make this stuff up, which I don't think is much as possible, and people started calling him out, hey, we know where you work now, maybe you should delete this post because you just breached an NDA, which is an offensive thing to do, especially because you can get sued for it. And I'm guessing what he did is he deleted his throwaway account because he was like, oh wait, I can actually get sued for this. I think it narrowed down to like 20 artists that were in that event, and it could make a huge impact on the game's leaks. But all of this information will be told to us pretty soon. And I'm just gonna delete my Reddit account, or he could be just making this stuff up and people started calling him out that he revealed too much information, so this could be fake. Now, which one is correct? You decide. But what I want you to do is to subscribe for more Battlefield 6 news, info, and leaks. Simply put, Battlefield 6 is coming pretty soon and days are closing in. The years are short, my friends, and by the end of the year, we're getting Battlefield 6. Be sure to join my Discord, leave a like, and subscribe for more Battlefield 6 content.